before I start talking more, because that's going to happen. Okay, hi everyone. So good to see your faces. I asked in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10, how's everyone's day been so far? So if you want to put in the chat, I'm going to wait for the weekend, so I feel like I've been kind of playing catch up myself, and my kids came home for a week from their dads, so they've kind of been off, so it's kind of been a little bit of a chaos in my house, I will not lie. So I'm very grateful to have this call that I can lock myself in a bathroom and be with amazing women that understand what it's like to have those days, because I'm human too and I have them as well. So I know Talia actually started a thread with some of us, and we've been sharing in there actually what coaching has helped us with and what it's done for us. And maybe if you're not in, I think all of you actually are, and just reading all of your guys's today has been really inspiring. So okay, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my whole desktop, so you're going to see, you should be able to see everything, but I'm going to present, and then Talia and Crystal, you ladies can unmute, and we can kind of just go from there. Okay, can everyone see it? Does it look good? Presenting? Okay. Yay! So this was inspired. We were talking, and I was kind of like, I want to have this Kickstart call, and if you haven't watched the National Wake Up Call from this morning, make sure that you will watch the recording. It is so valuable, and she has so many nuggets that align with a lot of things that we've been talking about lately and that we've been really working on doing. So if you weren't able to make it because of really busy work days, totally get it. Make sure that you catch the replay. And with the replay, you can skip over the recognition part. So you really can just get that, 10, 15 minutes or however long she's speaking, which I thought she was going to be in labor, but she ended up actually not being. She's still trying to get her baby out. So hopefully that didn't scare you, Talia, because I know that you have been like hearing people be going past and you're like, this baby needs to come out. So, okay, we wanted to start off by asking, what kind of coach are you? And this is based on your goals and what it is looking like for you. And I want to preface this with saying, it's for this season. So right now, maybe you are here to help support and have that discount, but maybe in a few months, it's to have that side income. Or maybe it's for the side income right now, and in a few months or in maybe a year, maybe you can never see yourself being full-time or whatever that looks like, but maybe that will just happen because of a natural passion that you develop. So I want to know, you can type in the chat box, what kind of coach are you, and what is that going to look like for you? And we'll kind of go from there when it comes to action items and stuff. And actually, let me pull up the chat so that I have it open. Okay, hobby discount coach for now, all in. No, she wasn't, Courtney. She did the National Wake Up Call in labor, so they pre-recorded it because her due date was 10 days ago, and she has not had her baby yet. They were able to get her on the call. Yeah, 10 days. Yeah. So she was like, hopefully this week. I was like, oh, well, yeah, I would assume like the, 2 week past your due date mark, right? Okay. So whatever this looks like for you, this is how you're going to base your goals when we're talking about action items. So when there's a number associated with like a connection or an invite, that number is going to match what kind of coach you are and what kind of coach you want to be. And no one can make that decision for you, right? So this is based off of you and your goals. Okay, so I want to know also, and we wanted to know, what kind of qualities do you look for in a coach? And you can just share a few in here to maybe help people see what kind of is in alignment, but I would make a list of this and have this on your vision board or have this at your desk or that space. And actually, where's that space that you're going to designate to work? Like, even if it's your kitchen table, like where is that space that you're going to have to be able to do that for you and yourself? But I'm curious, like, for me, like, I want a trusting coach. I want someone that's a little bit more ahead of me, that's maybe gone through similar things that I've gone through so that they can relate with me. They've been in my arena, which means I need to share bits and pieces of my story that people can relate with. Enthusiastic. I'm curious what Oh, the chat box is going off. Consistency, driven, passionate, authentic. Yeah, Melissa said the same. Team player, wants to learn, trusting, honest. Yeah, so thinking about this list, and then that way when you're ever coming to a post or you're getting on your social media and you're wanting to share, you can really, go back to this list and say, how am I showing up in the way that I want to show up as the coach that I want to be, and I want to help other people see that I am. Because the thing about this is trust is the foundation of your business. When people trust you, they will invest in whatever you say. It doesn't matter what you post. It doesn't even just have to be Beachbody. Like today on the National Wake Up Call, she said the reason she chose Beachbody, because she looked at other MLMs, is she didn't feel like she had to lose herself to a product. She could still be herself, and she could still share her life and all these things, and people trusted her for that, right? So work on that and kind of have that list. Maybe you can share that in the team page or in one of the pods that you're in the new coach pod as well. Okay, so your back office. Talia or Crystal, do you want to take this, or do you want me to keep going? Whatever works. I don't mind, but I want to give you guys.
Go ahead.
Okay, so your back office is really just to understand, knowing that checking in is such a habit consistency. Like Atomic Habits is a great book to know, like, why habits are valuable. Because really behind anything that we talk about, you want to know what the value is for yourself, or you're not going to do it, right? Like, you have to know why you're waking up in the morning to push play. Like, that's your choice, no one else's. And by you doing that, you're going to inspire those other people that want to show up too. So your back office is just knowing that you are there to check your leads, even if you're not getting leads. And does everyone know what leads are before I even go into this? Okay, so when you're an Emerald coach and you are helping 3 people a month, leads are what you get from Beachbody. So anyone that goes on to Beachbody on demand, they get hooked up with an active working coach, and you don't get the commission on their order the first time, but you do every other time. And the best part about this is with bod groups, they can see all of your bod groups. So whenever a lead, and you get paired up with a lead, they actually are able to join your groups. I email all of mine, but I was telling some girls the other day that I feel like my leads have been joining my groups more than even emailing me back, because they see it right there on their bod groups. So that's a perk of being an Emerald coach and unlocking your business, is Beachbody literally gives you leads, which in return is basically giving you commission if you have a trusting relationship with them and they want to stay consistent on their journey and you continue to help them. So these are people that you don't have to go look on social media for. If you're worried about not having a following or whatnot, or having people, well then if you help 2 people have a discount with opportunity and you're helping 3 people change their lives, Beachbody's going to give you people. You don't have to worry about that, and you can start building your pipeline that way as well. And then also scheduling in one training and a pocket of personal business mindset development every single day. So when you're doing this, maybe having that play in the background so that you're sitting down at your desk and you have your notepad right there. And if you hear something that sticks out to you, you can write it down. And whatever you write down for your day, I want to make this an action item that you do. So write this down for the next week. Every day, you're going to share your personal or business mindset development that you took away from that day. It can be you getting on your stories and videoing if you want to step outside your comfort zone, or it could be as simple as writing a text, like, taking a picture, making it have a color in the background and writing, I was just listening to my book and this is something that I took away that maybe someone else needs to hear because it's something that I needed to hear. Okay, so just and then being consistent with that, because people really need mindset right now. Mindset and nutrition. Working out can be pretty simple, right? Being able to press play. So I hope that that's helpful. And if you're not familiar with the back office, there's training on it. So if you just go to teambeachbody.com and you log into your back office and you go to the training tab, then you just click on the Getting Started tab and you can watch the coach office overview. It'll show you where you'd find Success Club, how to find your volume, how to find all of that, how to find the coach breaking news right there. So, you don't have to wait for me or your coach to post what's happening that week. They literally update it in your coach online office. You can find that before you are, see a calendar or anything like that. It's always shared on the first. I do try and share my diamond. When you are a diamond leader, they send you about 1 or 2 days before the next month what everything is happening in the next month. All the discounts, all the things like that are happening. So we're able to alert our teams before the month begins. And so that's helpful too. But in case you don't see that, you can always go there as well. Okay, so we're gonna get into business hours, and you can screenshot these. We shared all 3 of ours, so we're a little bit different. So I'm a mom of 3. I work from home full time. Honestly, because of quarantine life, let's just be honest, all of our schedules have been a little bit wonky and like trying to get back into like that normalcy of routine. But on a normal day, if like my day could go how I wanted it, and this is in my calendar, this is what I have. And so 5 a.m. wake up, create, and then that's when I'm playing my personal development, having my daily deposit right there. I work out at 5:30, and then I am 6 to 7 a.m. power hour. Either I'm getting on the lead power hour that we have access to, or I'm just doing one personally. And sometimes and then I also will do at least 5 new connections every morning. And why I say connections is just because I'm not, sometimes I'll do invites depending on how our conversation's going, but most of the time it's like, has someone else posted this early in the morning, like just kind of looking at my Instagram stories and seeing what's there and who's awake and stuff. Calls if I have any, and then I was kind of trying to think of what's coming, and I was looking at Bentley's schedule for school. So 10 to 12 was going to be like school, lunchtime, 12 to 12:30, nap time, hustle, all that. So this is like an ideal schedule of my life. And again, it varies, but yeah. Kelly, do you want to share yours?
Yeah. So mine is different every day just because I have a sitter that comes Mondays and Wednesdays all day, but I also work part-time on Wednesdays for my other job. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I have my son. And right now I would have like 5 a.m. on there, but kind of like what Emma said is like going through like the seasons of your life. So this may change, every 3 months. Who knows? Like I'm about to have a baby in September. So right now being pregnant, like waking up at 5 a.m. is not really an option because I'm basically like waking up 2 or 3 times a night and my energy is different. So this is kind of what has been working for me. I think once I have the baby and I'm recovering and it's kind of been some time to adjust, then my schedule may change and I may start waking up earlier and doing, different pockets in the day. So don't think you have to have one set business hour schedule. Like you can change this as many times as you want to fit your lifestyle so that you can make it work. So for mine, it's basically like I wake up, I have breakfast, and then I spend time with my son because at this point right now, he just wants mommy, mommy, mommy. So trying to do things that require my focused attention is really challenging. So I have dedicated that time to just like no phone, no nothing. And this is what we do. We play and we hang out. And then from like 10 to noon, I allow him to have like learning time on the iPad. For all of you moms out there, if you want to utilize screen time, give them educational apps that you can download and that's still fun and interactive so that you don't need to feel guilty if you're putting them in front of the screen, because if it's productive screen time for them, then that allows you to get some stuff done and then they are entertained and then you can do what you need to do. So I call it his learning time. And then during that time, I kind of work out. around like 12:30ish, I have lunch and I kind of put my earbuds in while we're both eating, and I listen to some personal development here and there. Um, and then at 1, I post in my accountability group. 1:30, it's Leo time again, pick up around the house. And then from 2 to 4:30 typically is when he's napping. So I try to do my focused power hours during that time. So focused power hours are things that like are actually going to move your business forward. So like if you need to focus on like answering people in your inbox, inviting people, focusing on conversations, connecting with people on social media. You want to save those for your focus time when you're not interrupted. So if you're a mom, that means during nap times or after they go to bed or really early in the morning, that's kind of when you can schedule those focused needle moving activities. And then after when he wakes up, again, from like 4:30 to really 6:30ish. It's hanging out with him. Daddy comes home. We get dinner ready. We have dinner. We hang out. And then my husband is really good right now about kind of putting Leo down, giving him a shower, all of that stuff because my belly's too big. So when it gets uncomfortable. So then I will try to do follow-ups, like basically going back in my inbox. And then I will do spend some time with him before we head to bed. So again, like this doesn't have to be like a set thing all the time. I know for some of us, we're like recovering perfectionists. And if we don't have like the same structure every day, then we get frustrated that we're not doing it. So I know for me, like these past couple of years, I have learned like you have to just allow lots of change, lots of adjusting, all of that stuff. And it's okay to do that. So yes, give yourself grace for sure. So that's just an example of how my schedule goes when I don't have a sitter.
I love that. And something I wanted to just piggyback off of that too is giving yourself grace and then also reevaluating your season every 3 months. I read a book and that really helped me. Like you were talking about the recovering perfectionist, I was the same way. And that just helps, like, you know that every season's different. You can't have 2 springs back to back because then there's no way you could harvest that. Like as a human, like farmers can't do that either. They would burn out. And so kind of thinking of that as the same thing. Okay, here is Crystal. You can unmute and you can share.
Okay, awesome. So I work full time and my schedule is a little bit weird because I work full time from home outside of Beachbody. But I'm usually pretty busy during the day with clients. So as you can see on my schedule, I'm typically with clients from 9 to 1 p.m. and then from about 2 to 6 or 2 to 7 or 2 to 8, depending on the day. And so the time that I really work my business in is I try to always hop on. Emma mentioned like they have the live power hours and I find a lot of value in those. So I try to make the 1 to 2 p.m. power hours every day during the week. And then I schedule in a power pocket in the mornings from 6:15 to 6:45. Because that's typically when I'm feeling pretty high vibe post my pre-workout and right before I get my workout in. That is just a really good time for me to get in, some invites if that's where I'm at with some relationships or connecting with individuals or just like she said, like seeing who's on social media and getting those connections in. As you'll see in here, like I put full-time job - anything I can get in breaks. I do that a lot. Like I'll go to the bathroom and anyone else, like I just really find that a really good time to connect with other people. It's like I have a minute or two and I'm just like having a breather from work. It just really works for me. So I highly recommend. That's a good way that I get some things done on, my tracker, and it helps me be successful without having to set aside like hours and hours, because I try to make that 1 to 2 p.m. power hour non-negotiable, but sometimes mom life just happens, and I find that just helps me be successful. And I think on all of our daily schedules have like wake up, workout, do our game day list, our gratitude, and I feel like that's a real game changer. But also at the end when I put Oliver to bed, or right before I put Oliver to bed, I always try to make sure that I prep for the next day. So like laying my stuff out, making sure my journal's out for the next morning. really helps me set myself up for success and start my day out on a really good note the next day.
Yes, and would you ladies agree that like sharing and posting in your challenge groups and all that still, even though you're a coach, is so valuable? Like making sure they know too, like you're still setting out your clothes at night, you're waking up in the morning, showing up in that way, because if we're wanting to build a business and show up as the coach that we want to be, we have to be showing that. And I think like Crystal said, we all have that game day list, affirmation, gratitude chunk in the morning. And then we also are setting up our nights. And so those are like, I know a lot of times we're talking, and actually we're going to talk more about our routines because school and all that is coming up. So, just having that in that habit. And if you need help with that, rereading or reading for the first time The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I know that's been a game changer for a lot of us. And if you've already read that a few times, Atomic Habits is another good one, or the 5-second rule. So any kind of those, if you're struggling with routine or, structure in that area, those are good ones. And sorry if you can hear my kids yelling right now. I'm not sure if you can, but I hear them fighting out there and I don't care. So who knows what they're fighting about? Probably someone touched someone the wrong way. Okay. Success Club, what is it? So Success Club, like in any job or any setting, I don't know, actually those of you who work outside of Beachbody, which I think a lot of us actually do, they're fine. They're watching stuff. I don't know what's going on. You have something to do and follow when you sit down for work, right? Like when you show up at work, there's something there for you to work through. It's the same thing. So this is one of the vitals, which you're probably familiar with, of knowing kind of how to help. So for me, when I first started, I really didn't start with any intention of helping. I really started for the discount. It wasn't until I shared my first progress photos and my transformation where people started to say, like, what are you doing? Like, what is happening in your life? Like, I had no idea you were working out, because I was super secret about it and just didn't want people to know. And so I just really was nervous to share, and I was nervous of people's opinions and judgment and things like that. So when I got started and I saw the potential of people wanting this, and it wasn't just me, and how selfish of me for holding this in my mouth and not helping people with this, was like, why not? Like, why can't I help 3 new people a month? Like, why not me? If it's something I really wanted to do, how could I make this happen? And so I looked at it and I was like, I want to be genuine. I want people to know that I'm here for them and that I'm not here to just like help them and then leave, right? I think sometimes we can, like on the team call with Sydney and, Talia was saying, like, how can we, get past of people Googling and searching like Beachbody and things like that, and knowing what that means. And it's because they trust you. And so out of all of this, gaining that trust with them starts with you and just adding free value and content to their life, which really begins with our challenge groups and what we have to offer beyond Shakeology and the workouts and the boosts and the, all of that. So be proof the product works by starting your day with that, whatever that looks like for you, right? And then have that power hour, because I want you guys to see that this business is doable in 2 hours a day, okay? So be proof the product works. That's 30 minutes in your morning, right? So that number 1 equals 30 minutes, right? Connect, invite, and follow up. That could be 30 minutes to an hour, depending on your day, right? If you're showing up on one of the power hours, that's going to be an hour. So right there, that is an hour and a half. Getting people results, that's checking in with your challenge group. That could be 5-10 minutes right there. And then your personal development, that can be another 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long you want to do that. Right there, that's 2 hours. And that doesn't have to be done all at the same time, but I just want you to see how that can be split up during the day. And I think sometimes we can overthink that this can be like there's so much to do, and there's not. We work together as a team, and our main goal is to help people feel their best from the inside out. And we have resources too. If you're not familiar with the Google Drive, will you type in the chat so that we can make sure that you know those resources? This is in the Google Drive. So if you do not use a business activity tracker and you are wanting to help people, this is necessary. You don't have to check everything off every single day, okay? But do you see how even just in the beginning, it's talking about taking care of yourself? So most of the things you're checking off, you're gonna be doing anyways. And it just, how many of you like to check things off? Is anyone like a checker offer? Checker offer, is that even a word? I have no idea. Okay, I saw some hands and head nods. Yeah, I am too, and it really helps me just be like, oh my gosh, I accomplished something, woohoo! Even though my kids were screaming and fighting, like I still got something done. So knowing that this is helpful and this is for you, and again, don't have the perfectionist mindset. Don't feel like all the bubbles need to be checked off, and kind of the same thing with the notifications. Like, don't have your notifications run your life. You run your notifications, right? Okay. So just knowing that and getting in those habits. And if you need and want to learn more about Success Club, which I highly recommend regardless of whether you think you know it all or not, because you never know it all. Just a little secret. I never know it all. I don't know it all. I'm still learning. I'm constantly learning, constantly wanting to learn and refresh my memory. So, and they're also constantly updating these things, and I want to know what they're updating it to. So make sure you go to the back office, you sign into the training tab, and it's the Getting Started tab, and it's video number 4, the Intro to Success Club System. So if you haven't watched Beachbody's training that Kim Carver has put together, if you're not familiar with Kim, he's an awesome dude who is super passionate about Beachbody and what we have to offer and our compensation plan, and helping us really learn and understand what it means for us. So anything that he does is gold. Highly recommend always really listening and taking notes to his things. Okay, and then we wanted to ask if you have thought of 1 to 3 people that would want to do this with you or think that would benefit from this. Maybe you're too nervous or scared to ask them, and I would love for someone to unmute if this is you or if this is something that you've been struggling with, and we can help you figure out kind of what to say to them and maybe kind of work through if there's a fear blocking you from doing this with them, or like with talking to them about it. And is anyone wanting to do that or have someone that they've been talking with? If not, that's also okay if you don't want to unmute, but if someone wants to, it would be fun to do that too. Oh, wait a minute. And if not,
now's the time to unmute and talk about it, guys, because if anything, we're like telling you this right now and you have like this feeling in the pit of your stomach and you're kind of like, I don't know if that scares me. Now is the time to ask so that we can help you, because this is the safe place to not feel judged, to not feel weird. And if anything, this is what's going to help you move past that. So whatever that is, just, unmute and share your feelings. There's no judgment here.
And I can share something that I shared with some of the girls this morning because Sydney actually had us make a list of 10 people that we've been putting words in other people's mouths for. And that's another thing, is don't put words in other people's mouths, because what if someone were to put words in your mouth and didn't ask you to join the challenge group or didn't help you along your journey when you wanted and needed that help, right? And so I actually reached out to this girl this morning. For some reason, her picture was up on my Instagram, just like at the very top of my feed when I was working out, and I saw it said like unplug. And it was like caught my attention. I was like, she had asked me about my bod ropes. Okay. So she had asked me where I got in the bod ropes, and she's a mom that she's pregnant right now. She's actually my brother's ex-girlfriend's sister. We met one time way back in the day, but she's like reached out, said she's like, loves watching my journey, blah, blah, blah. And I've been too nervous to ask. And so I did this morning, and I actually just opened, she just responded. I said, hey, I hope you had a good time unplugged. Always so good to do that. I've been kind of nervous to ask you. I know y'all are into ministry, paying it forward, and helping others live an amazing life. Is something I've ever shared about what I do for work been something you have thought about doing yourself? If not, that's okay. I just wanted to ask since it's been on my heart. And she goes, it was the best. Oh, girlie, never be nervous to ask. Beachbody has always been something that I have been interested in becoming a coach. And I was literally too nervous to ask. And it's so, and it's so sad to think, but it's because of reasons that Sydney had said. And how dare I do that? I wonder how long she's been literally sitting here watching me and been wanting to coach. And I've been hindering her journey by not asking until now. Right? So have that reality check for yourself. And if they say no, then you gave them that opportunity to say no. And that's actually what I went into the conversation saying in my head. I said, you know what? If she says no, then I gave her that opportunity to say no. But I'm not gonna be the one to say no for her anymore. I'm not gonna be the one to say no for them. No matter how much my heart's beating. Did someone unmute, or is it Talia?
Yeah. Oh, it was me. Marissa and Melissa both had the same thought. So they typed in the chat box and they said they don't have anyone in particular they're talking to, but what's a good way to not be that hey girl when you're inviting people, and what's a good way to approach people? So I kind of want to share, if that's okay, the this link at the bottom, you guys, is something that we made for you if you choose to use it. Yeah, don't ever say hey girl, because everyone's saying hey girl, like in the MLM industry. So use their name. Yeah, use their first name, because that's really more personal and all of that. But I wanted to share with you guys really quick that link down at the bottom. I have it pulled up. Can I steal the screen share for 2 seconds?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I might have to give you.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. So we created these for you guys to use. You don't have to, but it's basically templates for Instagram stories. And it's just a way to kind of post about your journey and what you're doing. And it's like a soft way to invite people, or at least get them to talk about it. So you can take the link and make a copy of these in Canva. When you use Canva, you can add your own picture. You can change anything you want to. You can change the color of the backgrounds, the colors in general, to match you and your style. But basically, if there were a way that you could, and then I would insert the struggle that you specifically have dealt with in the past. So don't just say like something generic. This is where you can use your story and your struggles that you've had, maybe now that you're finding are being resolved by using Beachbody programs and being a part of the community and all of that stuff. So you could sit here and add that in there. And then, and you can use this jargon too that I've put in here, but you can just simply say like, I'm looking for 5 women who need a buddy, because I do. And I want us to work towards a healthier version of this together. Here's the details. And it's just super basic. You can change all of this if you want to, but it's just super basic here. A couple of little like fun things or whatever. And this is kind of like getting them to like envision and think about like what could be for them. And then at the very end, you say, to save time, let's just chat about it to see if this could work for you. Send me a DM. Post this on your stories. Let me just stop so you can do this. You can do your screen share. Post this on your stories, and then people that visually are looking at your stories, you could send out a message and say, hey, whoever the person is, I don't know if you saw my stories, but I just wanted to see if what I posted about was something that you would want to do with me. Kind of what Emma said, like, don't sit there and make the decision for them. Don't put words in their mouth. You're giving them the opportunity, and that's really it. And you can repost these later if you want to, like on a different week. You can just use this to kind of get started. But even if you didn't want to use those stories and you just wanted to approach people, a lot of times it's easier if you're just posting about like your journey and like, or responding to the people that are already watching you. But it's just kind of easier to say something just like, what do you say, Emma? Because I love the way you say things, because it doesn't sound so generic.
What do you mean? As in, like, what do I say to to people when they respond to my, or say they're interested.
Or just like when you're approaching people about like joining one of the groups. I mean, I know I've heard you say certain things about coaching, like has it ever been on your heart? But what do you say about like with joining groups?
Yeah, I say kind of the same thing. Like, has any group that I've shared resonated with you, or has it been something that you've been thinking about? Actually, I asked on my Instagram story the other day, if you've been wanting to join my group, but you haven't yet, like what's been that one thing that's been holding you back, or what's something that's been holding you back? And people actually responded to that. One girl was like, I'm a broke college student. Another girl was like, I don't know if I'd have the time commitment. All things that I guess I didn't really think were objections. And right, we were talking about objections 2 weeks ago on the team call. So then kind of going back to that, then I would message them and say things like, hey, I saw what you said. Can I ask you a few more questions about why you said those things? And then really asking questions is so helpful. So I get a lot of questions like, oh, I don't know what to say. That's great. Ask a question. If you don't know what to say, always ask a question. If I don't know what to say, I'm asking a question, because if I don't know what to say, I don't know enough information about them to help them. And so if I don't know enough information about them, I can't be the best coach for them to serve their goals. So it may take a little bit longer, but I don't care. It's going to build trust, and it's going to keep retention, and it's going to keep that longevity, and that's what I want, and that's what you want, right? Like, you want to help people for a life, not just for a month, right?
Yeah, Rose asked, how often do you post it so you're not inviting the same people over and over? And I basically have the same followers. So that's just saying that you need to start expanding your network, Rose. And I know that goes into part of going into the power hour that you were asking about earlier. So that's just a process of learning how to grow your network. I think, don't we have one of those how to grow your network in the drive, Emma?
Yeah. And with this too, I will say, don't assume that people are going to see your stuff every day. Just, just because they follow you, that's why it's so important to be consistent, because people don't always have the time to see your things, or whatever the algorithm doesn't show it for that day for some reason. And so maybe the day that you posted it 5 days ago, they didn't see. And then if you don't post it for another 2 weeks because you feel like you've posted it too much or whatever, then they're really only seeing it 10% of the time so I would post every other day. I share something. It doesn't have to be necessarily slides, but I share about my group. I share like the ins and outs. You can take a video recording of, the groups, things like that, really showing the value of that, so that they can see that, and like you said, kind of switching up what they're seeing, right? If you decide to send out some free meal plans that we have in our drive to people, share that. Hey, like I just sent out a few free meal plans. And actually, this is something that I want to share that I learned from someone. If you're following up with someone and you feel like they could benefit from our group, and you just feel like they need a little bit of oomph, when you're following up with them, send them a free PDF. It could be a free PDF on a morning routine. It could be a free PDF we have in our drive. But say, hey, I wanted to follow up with you and see if joining and being a part of my community is something that's still been on your mind or on your heart, however you want to say it. If not, that's totally okay, but I wanted to include this free PDF about XYZ. I hope that it helps, and if now's not the right time, let me know, and I can get you started whenever the time is right for you. Just also letting them know that your door is always open. Whenever someone says no to me, I say that's totally okay. Just know that my door is open, and I'll be here for you whenever you're ready. And then simple follow-up, hey, I know that a month, 2 months ago wasn't the right time. How are you feeling? Are you able to find time for yourself? That's actually a question I ask a lot. Are you able to find time for yourself right now? How is your routine looking like? Is there anything that you would want to switch up? If I could wave a wand and grant you your kind of like the question that we're going to talk about, Talia asked, or we talked about too, but like if I could wave a magic wand and grant you your perfect routine, kids and whatever wouldn't disturb it, what would that look like for you? or when would you want to wake up if you weren't waking up 10 times at night with kids? So just kind of painting that picture. And okay, so really quick, we wanted to just talk about goals and income, and we'll do more of this. We have trainings in the back office about this and like why it's important. But really getting into your vision. So if you don't have a vision board and you're a newer coach, don't wait until January to do one. Do one this week if you can. Put it on your game day list, to-do list for the week. And if you can send it to your coach or me or whoever by Friday, then give yourself a deadline. And I want you to also be envisioning your year, 5 years, and 10 years of kind of what you want for your life and what you want this to look like. And so I don't want to give you a time frame on it, but I do want to give you, because I know for me, I can push these things off myself. So kind of giving yourself that deadline of knowing what you want and thinking about the question, if money and time were not a factor, what would you want to do with this life and with this business? And you don't have to answer that right now. I mean, if you've already thought about that, you totally can. But I want you to think about that this week, if time and money were not a factor. And while you're making this vision board, I want you to start sharing your vision on your social media. And I'm going to start doing more of this as well. But starting to share that vision of why you're showing up every day and what that looks like and how other people can find value in that too. Okay? And then if you also need more Emerald training, we have how to advance to Emerald and more of like the nitty gritty on that in our back office. There's all more trainings on that in the units. Sorry, in our team pages in the units. And then also in the back office, they have it under the training. And then it was a little hard to find, so I wanted to type out exactly how I found it. So if you want to take a picture of it, you can. But it's under training and then compensation program training. And then you click on the first bubble on the right. And then it's watch how ranks and the compensation plan works. So then there's 2 in there. And really what Emerald means is you plus 2. So you helping 2 other people do exactly what you've done, whether it's for the discount or whether it's for making a side income or having it be a hobby, or maybe they want to do more of this and they're really miserable about their jobs and they just really want more community and help and support. So whatever that looks like, we want you to create an Emerald goal date for yourself and also send that to your coach. And create bod groups. You go.
I was going to say, just on top of that for Emerald, guys, you don't have to. I know when I first thought about Emerald, I was like, okay, who the heck is going to be my 2 people? You can really make it easy on yourself too by signing up like your spouse or a family member that you can control their account. So I'll give you an example. So for me, on the one side, I have my husband. Okay, so my husband uses some of the products too. Like he uses the performance line. My son drinks Daily Sunshine. We have the beach bars, so I have his account and that's controlled by me. So he's considered a discount coach. And obviously the products, we're all using them, whatever. So it makes sense. So I have one on my left side, and then before, I don't have it now, but before, like my parents were drinking Shakeology. So they wanted to use it and then they got it for a discount. So then that could also be another controlled account. If they're using the products, but they obviously don't want to work the business, you can still utilize that account for business purposes as well. So you don't necessarily have to think, okay, I got to go out and look for 2 new people. If you don't want to, you can utilize family if, maybe it would help them, like being able to help like mom, dad, sister, brother, or whatever. No, you don't need to push things on people. My parents actually do something totally different now. So I'm like, that's fine. You don't need to do this. But if it makes sense, like having my husband signed up because we all use the products, or maybe you have Shakeology. Let's just say you have Shakeology for yourself under your account, but you're like, man, I really want to try, the performance, or I want to switch it up and have like Sunshine, or I want to try anything like specifically on HD, then sign up your husband, significant other, whoever, and order products there, because you're actually helping yourself. And you can find two people, have two people there, then you've opened up your business center and more things will happen for you that way. So it doesn't have to be so difficult. Don't, I guess, think that it has to be difficult, because you can utilize having multiple accounts that you're in control of. And obviously don't go crazy trying to figure out how that all works. We can help you if that's something that you want to pursue, but just remember that you don't have to find two new random people all the time. You can utilize people that are close to you to help you rank advance like that.
Great point. And Courtney asked a great question too. I'm enrolled in 2 of my coaches are my mom and husband. When would it make sense to start adding people under them instead of myself? So once you have 4 or 5 active coaches on either leg, then I would make them emerald if you are able to, if they're on opposite legs. So then that would mean you would be diamond. So for diamond, oh, what? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say for diamond, it's 4 active coaches on either leg, and then 2 of those 4 need to be active emerald.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, this is also where checking the back office comes into play quite a bit, because, for example, if depending on your goals, my accounts on each leg have different volumes. So my goal is more income than anything. So when I look at my volume, my right volume is really heavy. There's a lot of points there. So it's hard. I have one person on my right because I'm on a stronger leg. So I have a lot of points accumulated on that side. So for it to make sense for me, yes, rank advancement would be, ideal, because then I can get a higher cycle bonus. But as of right now, if I want to kind of max out even just as an emerald, I want to build more on the leg that needs more points. Yep. So it kind of just depends too, on, what your goal is, and you can shoot for both if you want to. It's just a matter of that's why it's important to go in your back office, understand what all the numbers mean, and kind of utilize how you're going to do a strategy. A lot of people don't realize this truly is a business. And in order to understand your business, you have to know your numbers too and your strategy. So I just want to make sure too, that you can see how the back office comes into play with that too. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah. And also having a one-on-one with your coach to talk about your downline and what that looks like, because everyone's is different. And like Talia was saying, someone's right leg could be the strong and theirs could be the left, and Sally's could be the complete opposite. And so that's why it's really like Melissa, the whole leg thing confuses you. It will get easier as you sign up coaches, or not easier, but it'll be more understanding as coaches. And whenever you're signing up a new coach, always ask your coach, hey, I'm signing up a coach, where do you think for placement? I would do that till you're diamond and beyond. I was still asking help and advice from mentors in the business. I mean, still with placement. And so, you're never too good or whatever for that. Oh, Crystal, were you saying something? But I can't hear you. I don't know why.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I was just saying, I literally still text Emma every single time. I'm like, I think this person goes to my right leg, but can you just verify? And I always recommend double checking the day afterwards too, because sometimes your coach doesn't get placed where you think they were placed.
Yes, always double check, because I swear to you, 99% of the time I'm filling out that application to switch placement on legs because my leg is selected for them to go on this one, but it doesn't go there. So always check, because you do have 5 days to change placements if you do need that. So that's another thing. If you do sign up a coach and you're like, oh crap, I wanted them to go on my left, not my right, it's okay. You have 5 days to make that change, and they will do that. So another thing too is, like Talia was saying, I'm all for helping you guys build a strong foundation and roots. So you have to have roots in order for fruits to actually grow and sustain, right? Like if you have roots that are dying, your fruits are going to die that are growing on a tree, right? And so that's where kind of like that volume stuff comes into play. So going back and forth between income rank. I know there's other teams in the company that are all about rank, which rank is amazing and rank is great. And this is something that we're all working towards this year. I also want to make sure that we're talking about sustainability and longevity and that side of the business. And that's how I've built mine. That's how I always teach everyone else's. I mean, Gabby has even messaged me thanking me, like, thank you for teaching me the value of like volume and all of that, because there are some people in the company that make great commission, which is awesome, but you will work yourself into the ground, and that's not what we're here for. We want to love what we do and love helping people in the right way. Okay. Okay, so then we're gonna go on to bod groups. Oh, and Rose, there's never a wrong leg either. Like that's another thing. If anything happens, it always works out, and I always believe that it works out how it's supposed to be. So if anything, it's okay, and everything will work out. And we will also, we should have a separate call for this, talking about legs, more in depth on volume, not even just Emerald, just legs in general, what each leg kind of means, how our downline is set up, and all that. So thank you all for asking these questions. I think that's really helpful, and now we know how we can go in from there. Okay, so then with bod groups, I don't know if you heard this morning, if you're on the National Wake Up Call, that they added lives to bod groups. I haven't been on yet today. It's still something that I'm gonna go check out, but I wanted to share that I think I'm gonna like slowly but surely move over to bod groups again. I was talking to some people, and I was trying to figure out my like name, because we're all going back to school, and I just really want to help moms with all the stuff that's going on. So do you guys remember like the home room, like home economics room or whatever? I didn't ever really have one of those in school, but I know like my mom did and stuff. So with bod groups, I feel like we can make like a room, if you will, because it will say it right on like the little blurb, like homeroom is kind of what I want to call it. So we'll talk about fitness stuff, we'll talk about our routine, we can talk about homeschooling or parenting or whatever that is. And so having bod groups is so valuable for you, so that whoever, like you have leads or you have new customers that join from your site, anything like that, they can simply go and request access. You all can see my group. So anytime you're an admin of a group as well, so if I ever add you as an admin to one of my groups, that also will show up on your bod groups. So any group you're an admin of will show up, which is so awesome. So that's why it's great that we can all work together and help each other together, because if you are an admin of a group, it can show up. So so then that is what we had tonight. If you have any other questions, would love to talk about it. I know that it's almost coming up on an hour, so we'll stay on for about 6 more minutes. I want to respect everyone's time, and I do want to take a picture, but if anyone has questions or anything else they wanted to chat about, now's the time. And if not, that's okay.
Rose, do you want to briefly talk about the legs, if that would help clarify?
Yeah, that would be helpful. It's something that I was always confused about in the past, because the previous team I was on, they were like, oh yeah, sign your husband up, and then you can start building your team, but you can have control over his account because basically it's the same account or something. And so I did that, signed him up. But then they're like, oh, you put him on the wrong leg. Like there's like a weak side and a strong side. And so I was like, oh, I had no idea. So then I try to like switch him over to whatever side. And they're like, oh, it's too late. He's stuck there. And so then I was just kind of discouraged, I guess, because that was like my start. And then it kind of got shut down.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell your dad he's sitting right there?
I don't know how many times I say that too. So that the downfall there with your previous people is they didn't explain where they put you under them, because you have to understand where you are placed under your sponsor. So I can briefly explain this really quick. So Emma, she's like at the top right now for Dreamer Society. So she has a left leg and a right leg. So her right leg has a lot of coaches under it. And then there's a couple of coaches under that leg that have built really big networks. So that makes that leg really strong because of all the points that have accumulated from all the other coaches and the people that have added more coaches and all of that. You with me so far? Yeah, okay. So she's placed me on that same leg. So what happens is all those points that are accumulating there, I'm on the strong side. So if you put me on the strong side and then you break down my legs, then my right leg is going to also be really strong because I'm getting all those points accumulated from those same coaches. And so imagine like a big spider web, but then you go on my left leg and there's nothing there because there's no one on that side because it's my own personal, it's my own personal leg basically. So there's no points there. I'm not sharing anything with anybody. There's no coaches because it's my own personal leg. It's part of my business. So that would be considered my weak leg. And that's what they should have told you first. Because then you can say, okay, I'm going to get all these points or whatever from all these other coaches because I'm on the strong side of my upline coach. So it makes sense business strategy wise to take my weak side and build that if your goal is volume and cycle bonusing and income and all of that. Does that kind of help and make sense?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So Rose, and it'll help once it's happening in your business. So you're on my left leg. So this is another thing is I've heard that you can put your spouse on your strong leg or your weak leg. It can depend because if you are planning on working his business, if you put him on the strong leg, then you're automatically going to be helping him also have a good volume on that as well. But also, if you put him on the weak leg, then you are helping your weak leg with that volume if you're going to put customers under his account, because we all help one another in our business when it comes to volume. We're all a team effort when it comes to that. And so that's kind of where it plays off, and it'll make more sense once it's like happening. And then that's why 2-star is awesome, because then you can open up a second business center under yourself. You put it on a weak leg that's in your downline. You could even put it on your spouse's weak leg. You start filtering everyone through your second business center to help with volume. So I know that was kind of a lot, but.
Okay. It's kind of making sense because not everybody is going to become a coach. Like you might have just customers who they just want to be customers, and there's other people who actually want to work the business aspect. And so I mean, I guess we can talk about it on a whole nother call because I could probably ask a million questions about it. But
yeah, and that's okay. And that's actually, I'm glad you asked it because that's a really good idea to break that down, especially for, coaches in general. Because a lot of people don't understand that and they just think, oh, I need to sign up coaches under me. And then they wonder like, why is it taking so long for me to like make money or to get, higher in rank? This is such a crucial business strategy and skill that you need to understand and know. So I'm really glad that you brought it up because I think it's something that we'll definitely talk about on another team call, and we can break it down like to the wire of like exactly. And so if you want to ask, like think of all those questions that you have and post them in maybe the thread, because we can use those, take those, and then help to like bring it all together for clarity for you and other coaches.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if you guys saw that I went to right here, and there's the compensation program training, and they have more, like Kim Carver just redid all of these in here. So if you click on the like blobs, it should work, but it's not working.
Courtney's asking about.
I know. Yeah, I took a picture of it because I think that it's something that we should take note for another time because I feel like we could probably spend another 30 minutes talking about this. But basically how your upline coach affects your volume is just knowing if and it just really also depends on if your upline coach is a working coach too. Because they might not be adding people, so it depends. But Courtney, we can talk about it because it doesn't mean that's the case because you're also on a leg that people are being added to. So I would like to look more at your downline and stuff just to see kind of what your volume is. But basically, I wanted to show quickly. It says in here kind of what drives income. Like they just redid this. This is brand new, all done this year. So it talks like how rank works, what drives the income, and then again, that was on the second blob that I just pressed. But I also wanted, and so you can go back in here. But I wanted to share this quickly. Sorry, guys, I'm like all over the place right here. This we made as well, or Talia made this. We were collabing on it, but she's been so great at making the graphics. And she already put this in the drive. So if this is something that you want to use, because I know a lot of you were saying how the new coach one was super helpful that we created and put together. So this one is more of the Kickstart. So going kind of off of the action items that we said tonight. So deciding what kind of coach you want to be and whether or what that looks like for you, come down the road, watching back office tour, and then scheduling the first training video to watch for yourself. You are the CEO of your business and starting to just have that mindset. And would you cancel on your boss? If you were getting paid to show up for someone else's dreams, would you cancel on them? I doubt you would. So don't cancel on yourself for your dreams, okay? I mean, unless something happens with a child, totally understandable. But you know what I mean. Decide and then print which tracker that you want to be using if you haven't already and really start utilizing that. Watch the Intro to SE system, choose and reach out to your 1 to 3 people. And as you're doing this, reach out to us. We want to help you with conversations. I thrive on helping you guys with conversations. Ask Crystal. I love when she asks me about conversations and stuff like that. And Talia, we all, and you all have started to get better at that. So just continue to use us because the more confident and comfortable you are with talking to people and in your conversations, the more you're going to be excited and want to help people. The more you're going to want to help and like make those connections. And then also post about joining your next group, okay? It can be the homeroom one, whatever. It doesn't have, like, whatever works for you, but making sure you're utilizing those things and post about it at least 3 times a week, okay? 3 or 4, whatever you want to do. And then attend 2 live team calls, watch the Body Groups tutorial, and determine your goals and send that vision board. And then I also just wanted to make a note on Thursday. The National Wake Up Call inspired me a lot this morning, and we decided that we're going to do every 3rd Thursday of the month an info session about what coaching is. So this will be a space where you can invite anyone, your challengers, and if you're not comfortable with talking about coaching yet, that's okay too. I just want you to know that it's a way that you're going to be able to invite to it. You can also have another one if you want throughout the month. But I think it's a great way to have like a one night where we already have that time blocked off for ourselves. So we know that we can be showing up for it. And that way we know we can be like, hey, like these are normally our team call nights, but tonight we're actually opening it up for anyone to get on and hang out with us and see what it's like to be a part of our community. And you can ask all the questions and find out all the deets that way. So making it more of like a afternoon happy hour with all of us. So, just know we will be doing that on Thursday instead of team call. And we'll still be doing the same topic that we were talking about on the team call and maybe just switching it around or just going live about it. Or we'll just switch it to the following week because, hey, we have time about it. Well, this Thursday is the 3rd Thursday. So I was thinking, yeah, this Thursday. Since it's already team call. I mean, we don't have to. I was just thinking, why not? And then moving like the theme or what we had talked about to the following one. Or we could do it the fourth one, because I know that she said she does the third and fourth Thursday, which I thought was a good idea, so we could also do it next week. But I just wanted to do one sooner than later. And I like that she was talking about having a time block of when people getting started, because I was kind of saying the same thing. I really want to be able to help new coaches all get started at the same time. I think there's a real power in that, and having that new coach pod and all that to connect with those new coaches. So yeah, I'll make a graphic for that too, and we can share that. And I would just encourage you, if you have never gone live about anything, just go live about your story. If you've never done it, it'll help you get better at it. It'll help you with talking. You might fail, whatever, who cares? People will love that you just shared it, and people need to hear our story more than ever right now. So if you've never gone live or done an IGTV, I would recommend with doing your story, because then what that means for you is when someone asks you, hey, I don't really know more about your story, or I want to know more about your story, you can send them that. And then you're not having to sit there and write them or voice them for 5 to 10 minutes about your story. You can send them a 5 to 10 minute video. Just wanted to share that too. It's helpful. Okay, let's smile really quick. I have dinner and a movie date out there with my fam. Okay, ready? 1, okay, I'm gonna do it on my phone because I was gonna do it on my, okay. Courtney, it's so good to see your face. I feel like I haven't really ever seen you on a call before. It's so that you got off work and you're able to make it. You're so cute. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Oh, so fun. All right. And also that new coach checklist is also in the drive as well. So you guys can start using that right away. I hope this was valuable. Thank you all for being on, taking the time from your families. We'll talk soon. Bye.